Lost Tales. The story of White Huns or Hephthalites. Hephthalite chronology. 410 AD. Despite being bordered by the powerful Guptas to the east and the Sassanids to the west, Kushamsha vassal rule of the region is displaced from the north, as the Hephthalites invade and conquer Bactria and Gandhara. After Kushan Empire had faded and the same is happening to the Kushamshas, the Kidarites are able to launch their own invasion of eastern Iran, sweeping the Hephthalites along with them. 410 to 413 AD. The Hephthalites swiftly become a major threat. After finishing his campaigns, both in the east and west of India, Gupta king, Chandragupta proceeds northwards to subjugate the Hephthalites and the Kamboja tribes, located in the west and east Oxus valleys, respectively. 421 to 427 AD. While Sassanian king of kings Bahram V has been occupied by the fighting against Romans, the Kidarites and Hephthalites invade and occupy Sassanid territory in eastern Iran, with the Hephthalites at least occupying Merv. Having agreed peace terms with Rome in 422, Bahram quickly assembles a fresh army to take east. Merv, the capital of Margiana, is captured and the Hephthalite ruler is killed. The Sassanid eastern frontier is fully secure by 427 and a pillar of thanks is erected on the banks of the Amudaya. 450s AD. By this time Aksum War, also known as Kushnavaz, has become the leader of the Hephthalite Confederacy. The Hephthalite capital is probably located around the modern city of Kunduz in eastern Tokaristan, known as War-Wallis. 455 to 467 AD. The early years of the reign of Gupta king, Skandagupta, are marked by violent civil war between him and his brothers. Skandagupta manages to defeat his rivals and secure throne. However, continual threats arise, first from the Pushyamitras, whom he defeats, and then from the Hephthalites who invade from the northwest. They are repulsed around AD 467, but the empire is sapped of resources and begins to decline. 457 to 459 AD. The death of Bahram V's son, Yazdegerd II, allows his younger son Hormizd to seize the Sassanid throne ahead of the rightful heir, Perose. Perose is occupying the position of governor in Sistan at the time, and instantly seeks the protection of the Hephthalites. Hephthalite king, Kushanavaz, is happy to take advantage of Sassanid disunity. Other support comes from the House of Myran, which has already provided the Chosroid kings of Caucasian Iberia, and Perose is soon able to capture Hormizd. Talakan is ceded to Kushnavaz in thanks, expanding Hephthalite domains westwards by an extra province. 462 AD. An Hepthalo-Alcon figure known as Mayam or Mayhama is mentioned during and after the reign of Shah Perose. He is acting as a local administrator under Sassanid Shah Perose, in a hard-to-locate region known as Kadid, which appears to fall within the general bounds of Bactria. In the period in which Perose is finally defeated and during the political vacuum which follows in and after 484, Mayam is soon raised to the position of Mahasahi Mayhama. 467 to 468 AD. Attacked by a now powerful Sassanid Shah Perose, the current Kidarite king, Kunkaz, flees his capital of Balam, possibly taking refuge in Gandhara where he may continue to rule. The Kidarites have permanently lost their position in Tokaristan to the Hephthalites and only retain control of Gandhara, possibly in Swat. Now the Hephthalite Confederacy appears to set about expanding its own power over the rest of Tokaristan from an eastern base, possibly in the Badakhshan region. Hephthalite control of Tokaristan seems to be complete by 483 AD. 469 AD. The Hephthalites apparently betray the trust of Shah Perose by seizing the Bactrian capital of Bactria, which has so recently been restored from Kidarite rule. This triggers the first Sassanid Hephthalite war, but it does not go well for Perose. The Sassanids are badly mauled at the third battle in this conflict and Perose is captured by the Hephthalites. He is forced to pay a hefty ransom to ensure his release. This is the start of what has been labeled by historians the period of the Imperial Hephthalites. From this period onwards we observe presence of Hephthalites both in Central Asia and India. Evidence suggests that the White Huns, who came into India were, although of the same lineage, different in terms of their ruling dynasty, and established an outlying independent kingdom in India, which was working in tandem with the wider territories in Central Asia. So, the White Huns can be divided into the Huns of India, and the Hephthalites of Central Asia. Although they retained separate rule, they nonetheless remained in contact and in alliance, aiding each other militarily when required. Paucity of records, lost in the mists of time. This was the story of Hephthalites, but it is not over yet. In the next video we will pick up the threads of the Hephthalite chronology, and continue the journey of Hephthalites as Huns of India and Hephthalites of Central Asia. Lost Tales.